Alright, what is up you guys? I'm here with my WWE Evolution pay-per-view review, the first ever All Wins pay-per-view of course, and this will contain results and spoilers. So right off the bat, we had not a sold out crowd. It wasn't too bad, but you could definitely see a lot of empty seats. Hard camera looked fine, I'm sure they moved everyone there. But this kind of had a house show feel to it, which isn't really a bad thing, because I actually really like the smaller stage. Had kind of a 2010 TNA feel to it. I liked it. And we actually had no LED board on the apron or the ring posts. I hate that, so it's really good. You know, just the classic pole and the ring apron. I like the old school ring better. I don't like when they try to gimmick it all up. We had the 3 announce tables. So, you know, like I said, the barrier just kind of cheap looking as well. But, you know, I did like the stage and all that. It's kind of cool to see something new for once. So, first up, we had kind of a strange opener. We had Trish Stratus and Lita versus Mickie James and Alicia Fox. And then, of course, Alexa Bliss was taken out due to a concussion injury. So, she was just on the sideline. But she did interfere some. This match lasted 11 minutes and 5 seconds. This match was fine. Trish Stratus and Lita, they looked good in the ring. You know, no complaints there, but there was one serious botch in here. Trish Stratus was going for the pin, and the referee's about to count 3, but then stops. Because I guess it was supposed to be broken, and they were like half a second too late. So that was a very obvious botch, really just bad looking. Other than that, you know, I'd give this match 2 out of 5 stars. And as usual, I'm going to give all the matches star ratings and then the overall show a letter grading. Forgot to mention that at the beginning. But yeah, 2 out of 5 stars. A very generic opener. Trish Stratus and Lita did look really good though. So, you know, didn't miss a beat on that part. So, 2 of the all-time greats. It's good to see him in the ring again. And, you know, decent match at best. And then we had the historic Women's Battle Royal, which lasted 16 minutes and 10 seconds. And you had returning legends. You had Molly Holly, Ivory, I think Alundra Blaze was in there. And, you know, Kelly, Michelle McCool. A lot of your, wouldn't call all of them legends, but a lot of them are legends on their own right. You know, you had all of them in the middle of the ring. And then, you know, the current roster was surrounding them. So that was kind of a cool shot. But, you know, unbiased, I was not a fan of the ending, so that's why I'm going unbiased here, obviously. But this was just a very generic Battle Royal, honestly. There were really no crazy spots. There was no, really any kind of historic moments. Like, you could have had some really cool moments with all these returning legends and then the current roster. It just felt like they just kind of dropped the ball on this one. I'd give this match 1.5 out of 5 stars. You know, you had Asuka going out kind of early on. She didn't even make it to, like, the final 3. I guess she was everyone's favorite to win. And I was personally rooting for Ember Moon. And then she was last eliminated by Nia Jax. And I am not a Nia Jax fan. I cannot stand her. So, unbiased. 1.5 out of 5 stars. And then, obviously, this was for a #1 contender shot in the future. And then Nia Jax annoyingly got on the mic and said she's coming after the title, basically. Yeah. Next up, we had the Mae Young Classic Tournament Final with Toni Storm and Io Shirai. This, in my opinion, was match of the night. This is the match I enjoyed the most. It only lasted 10 minutes and 20 seconds. I think it could have really benefited from maybe like even an extra 3 minutes, 5 minutes. But this is a match I did not want to see end. I really enjoyed this. We had a beautiful moonsault from Shirai to the outside off the top rope. And she did another moonsault later on, which is really just fantastic. And this is a very hard-hitting, fast-paced, strong-style match. I think this match was a bit predictable, but in the end, this was fantastic. we had a pretty good spot on the side of the ring, which they gotta emphasize is the hardest part of the ring. And overall, fantastic match. Toni Storm for the win, and she got the trophy. Triple H, Stephanie came out, you know, got flowers, got the trophy, of course. But I gave this match 4 out of 5 stars. I would have given it higher if we had a longer match time and, you know, maybe just a little more psychology and stuff to it, but I'm not going to complain. This was my favorite match of the night. Next up, we had the 6-woman tag team match. Sasha Banks, Bayley, and Natalya versus Ruby Riott, Liv Morgan, and Sarah Logan, who all came out as horror icons. I think we had Leatherface, Pennywise, and Jigsaw, which was kind of cool. So this match was good, but it was very kind of a clusterfuck at some points. Like, you know, some points you just had all 6 of them in the ring. You had just kind of a mess at some points, but it was very fast-paced. You had a spot where Sasha Banks was about to basically take a spot from the top rope, but Bayley laid on top of her and took the impact from Ruby Riott, so that was kind of unique. And then we had a pretty bad Sasha Banks botch. She was going to, I guess she was going for a flip out to the floor, and she literally hit her ass on the side of the ring, and then they caught her. And, you know, I think Bayley really shined in this match. You know, in the finish, she took a pretty nasty fall to the outside. She did a dive through the ropes, but looked really cool. Sasha Banks got a frog splash for the win on Liv Morgan for the pin. So this match lasted 13 minutes and 10 seconds, and I gave this 3 1/4 out of 5. It was a decent match, but like I said, it kind of seemed like a mess at some points. You know, Natalya did her kind of cliche at this point, where she does her, you know, 2-person sharpshooter. I think that's getting a little old, honestly, but... Next up, we had Kairi Sane versus Shayna Baszler for the NXT Women's Championship. This match went 12 minutes and 10 seconds. I would have given this match a much higher rating if it weren't for the finish. It did not feel like an NXT finish. You know, it felt, I don't know, it just didn't fit with the rest of the match. You know, they had a good match. You know, we had a good crossbody from the top to the outside from Sane. We had a bunch of steel step spots. You know, some very early on we had a few of those. We had some pretty good focus on Kairi Sane's arm. Pretty nasty looking spots, like, you know, she bent her arm back, or at one point she just like completely just stomped on her hand. Pretty big reaction from the crowd. And then we had a clutch by Shayna Baszler. And then we had an interference after the clutch because it was reversed, tried to get the pin, and then we had interference. And the interference just, to me, just took away from the match. And then we had interference again for the clutch, and Shayna is now the NXT Women's Champion. And something I don't understand, I don't know if this is just the old school wrestling fan in me, but back when you had people in the clutch or the sleeper hold, the referee would always lift their arm up and drop it. If you dropped it 3 times, you lost. They don't do that anymore, I guess. I don't know. Maybe this is just the old school fan in me, but, you know, all the referee did was look at her, called for the bell, noticed she was knocked out, or choked out. Honestly, this match was good until the end. For that reason, I gave it 3 out of 5 stars. Decent match. I preferred the Brooklyn match, which I was there for. It was a good match. I really did enjoy that match. But this one, I think, kind of fell short a little bit. Next up, we had Becky Lynch versus Charlotte Flair for the SmackDown Women's Championship in the first ever Last Woman Standing match. This match went 28 minutes and 39 seconds. It honestly didn't feel that long, and that's always a good thing. But I do have some complaints about that about this match. I'll get to that at the end of this. So we had, very early on, back and forth, very steady back and forth. We had Becky Lynch get the kendo stick, a few shots to that to Charlotte, and then they had this spot where both of them were on one side of the ring, and they were both just throwing chairs in the ring. We had ECW chants going, which was cool. And then we had a table in the ring, and then Becky Lynch and Charlotte were on the top rope, and Becky fell onto the table, and then Charlotte attempts a moonsault to Becky Lynch on the table. She hits it, but the table doesn't break. So then she literally puts her back on the table and does a senton, a front flip senton onto the table, and it finally breaks. This was just awkward. I don't really think you should have tried again. I think it took away from the pacing of the match. You know, the crowd got a good laugh out of it, but, you know, if you botch like that, don't try again. Just move on, in my opinion, because it just kind of took away. It's pretty much admitting, yeah, I fucked up, let's try it again. I don't think that's really how it should be, but whatever. We had a ladder come into play. We had a body slam on the ladder. We had a figure 8 on the ladder, which kind of took a while to come to fruition. You know, Charlotte took a little while to put the hold in, but it looked cool in the end, so that's all that matters. And then finally we had a leg drop through the German announce table by Becky Lynch off a ladder. And this is where my problem comes in, because the referee was counting to 10, but then he stopped before getting to 10 when Charlotte wasn't actually on her feet yet. And this happened twice in this match. And I don't know if that's just bad timing. I don't know whose fault that really is. But, yeah, that was very noticeable. And then Becky Lynch buried her under the announcers' chairs, you know, the steel chairs and everything. She came out of it. And then finally we had a powerbomb through the table, which is actually a really cool spot. Becky Lynch powerbombed Charlotte through a table on the stage side, so on the other side of the ring. So that was a really cool spot. I did like that finish. And Charlotte just barely got up. She couldn't get it. And then Becky Lynch got the win. I gave this match 3 3/4, so almost 4-star match. I don't know, the whole ref thing bothered me a little too much. That's just, it's not taking away from the match too much, but it was a very glaring flaw. I don't know, it's just, that's the second time tonight the referee either fucked up or Charlotte just had bad timing. I don't know, but yeah, still a really good match. So finally we had Nikki Bella versus Ronda Rousey for the Raw Women's title singles match, and this match lasted 14 minutes and 15 seconds. And this is the first time ever I've actually rooted for Nikki Bella. I did not think she was going to win, but hey, it's a long shot. I think Nikki Bella actually looked really good in this match. You know, not much ring rust, because obviously part-timers now. But, you know, she got a lot of the offense early on. We had a lot of ring post shots to Ronda Rousey from both of the Bellas. We had a very nice springboard kick from Nikki Bella, and I don't know if it was that or there was sort of a botch before that. One of those cut Ronda Rousey a few times on the forehead. Nothing, it wasn't really bleeding, just kind of just some cuts. And then, you know, we had the rack attack for the kick out from Nikki Bella. And then finally they were both on the top rope. And we had sort of a small package into an armbar. It looked really cool, but it also looked really painful on both of their parts. So, yeah. And we got the tap out for the win to Ronda Rousey. And she retained the title. She celebrated for a while. Her husband was out there. And then the whole roster came out and congratulated her at the stage. Overall, I'd give this match probably 2 3/4. it's an average match. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't great. So yeah, overall this pay-per-view, a lot of botches. It's kind of expected though, going in. So, you know, we had some decent matches, like I said, but a lot of glaring flaws, in my opinion. So the overall letter grade I'm going to give it is a C+, very high C+. I was deciding whether to give it a B- or a C+, but I think I'm going to go with a C+. It's not a failure as a pay-per-view, but it wasn't like a complete success. So overall, I know a lot of people enjoyed it. Some people probably didn't. I don't know yet. We'll see. But personally, it was. I wasn't ecstatic watching it. I did enjoy the Mae Young Classic match though, so that was good. Overall, C+. Let me know down below what your ratings and star ratings would be, and your overall letter grade. So, for now, I hope you guys enjoyed. This has been the DVD Freak. Peace out.